So what's everybody up to today? I hope everybody's doing well. So this video is going to be, I say this in every video, I say it's going to be quick, but it'll be what it is. It may be quick, it may be won't, I don't know. So I have to replace wheel bearings on my 2006 Chevy Tahoe, and I want to show you why I'm replacing one of them. So this is the driver's side, and you can see it's rusty, but you can see there's a gap. Yeah, so it's not supposed to do that. If I put it back in the hub, which I'm not gonna put it back all the way, or back in the knuckle, she's got some play. I don't want to push it back in there because I don't want to get stuck, but it's got some play. As you can see, that's got to go. Like that's a seal that you're seeing. You're not supposed to, like, it's supposed to be like that. I'm not supposed to be able to pull it. The ABS wire comes with it. As you can see, they usually come as a whole assembly. You can take it out if you need to. I don't know what size that is. I know it's an Allen, so I don't know. I would assume maybe like a 5 or 6 millimeter. Maybe, I don't know. But pretty much, that's trash. It's no good. I have new ones. They're, I guess, going to be here tomorrow. They're supposed to be here today, but FedEx wants to bring me my stuff when they want to bring me my stuff. So, that is what it is. But I do want to go over some tools or some sizes, some sockets and whatnot. So there's a 10 millimeter bolt right here that holds this part of the caliper on. This is just a hanger. It sits right here on top. That's a 10 millimeter bolt. Then you have another 10 millimeter bolt right here that holds the brake line on as well, keeps it from getting caught. I don't know what size the bolt is as far as like thread pitch. I'll show you what the bolt looks like. The bolts for both look identical. These are the two 10 millimeters. They are identical in size, they are identical in length, and what kind of a bolt they are. I have to take one of these to work tonight to find one for that side, or I have to find one for this hole on the driver or passenger side, because the one on the passenger side broke into the old control arm. So I have to find another one, because you don't want this dangling around, especially if you're going to use four-wheel drive. If you kink this enough or it drops down and gets stuck like that, it will get caught, and you don't want it to get caught right here and start rubbing, because you will lose your brakes, and you don't want that. So yeah, so I have the caliper up, not hanging from the brake line. I tried to use that hanger, but I don't really have anywhere to hang it. I probably could hang it off over here to the side, but it's doing fine where it is now. Make sure that I'll get to the bracket, I'll get to the caliper bolts and the actual bolts that hold that on in a second. But make sure that when you take your old wheel bearing or wheel hub assembly out, that you clean all this off, because my vehicle's not really a northern vehicle, but you can see all the rust. This made it kind of hard to get it out. So what I did was I stuck one of the bolts for the hub, excuse me. I stuck it back in here, and I just put a socket on. I put a impact socket on the top and hit it with a hammer. You don't want to hit on the head of the bolt, obviously, because I don't have an air hammer, I don't have a compressor, and I don't have a lot of tools at home. All of my stuff is at work, so I kind of came ill prepared, which I had a feeling I was going to do. But yeah, that's how I got it out. I just put them in the top and the sides, and it came out just fine. I didn't damage the bolt, didn't damage the threads. Threads are fine. Probably wouldn't hurt to wire wheel those. The head of the bolt is perfectly fine. So, but anyway, there's three of these bolts that hold the wheel hub assembly on. They're 15 millimeter. They look like this. They're all three exactly the same. They're the same length, everything like that. And then the two caliper bolts that go right here, they obviously go the opposite way, but these are an 18 millimeter. They look identical. They're the same length, same kind of bolt. They have Loctite on them, so you need to put Loctite back on them. Blue Loctite would be fine. You don't have to, you know, go to town on them either. I don't know the torque specs, so don't try to ask me because I don't know what they are. I'm sure you could find it somewhere. If you buy a repair manual from like Chilton or Haynes that has all of the torque specs, it does not have the bolt sizes as far as like a socket or what size tools you need, but it will tell you torque specs, so you can go look at that. That's really it. The axle nut size, the axle nut itself, I don't have mine in here at the moment. Mine have been taken out for a little while, just because I knew I was going to do this and I didn't want to have to fight with them or deal with them. But they're a 36 millimeter or 1 3/8 inches, I think is what it was. I have to check. And then the 6 or 8, I don't know how many there are, 6 or 8 bolts that hold the axle to the differential, those are 15 millimeter. And there's, I think, 6 of them. Yeah, there's 6 of them on both sides. So, and this is the same for both sides. There's nothing special about both sides. They're both exactly the same. There's nothing different. I don't know what size this is, but it doesn't matter for me because I didn't take the caliper apart. I just took the bracket off with it. You're gonna probably have to bust the upper ball joint loose. That's an 18 millimeter wrench. I've already put new stuff on mine, so they should break free fairly easy. You're gonna have to do that to be able to put the bolts back in for the wheel bearing, these right here, because if you have the CV axle in here, they're going to be kind of hard to get to. I advise using a ratchet wrench for at least the top one, or try to put the wheel bearing in before you put the axle in. I'll probably do it and make a video of how I did it, just because I don't want to have to take all this apart again. I've already done it. I should have ordered all of it at the same time, but I didn't realize how bad my wheel bearings were, because this one is awful. I mean, I've never seen one this bad before, at least in none of the vehicles I've had. Like that was legitimately close to falling apart, and you know, the wheel deciding that it wanted to get to where I was going faster than me. So I mean, you could try to keep the studs if you wanted to keep the studs. I mean, obviously don't slam them on the concrete like I was doing, but I mean, there's nothing wrong with any of them. So I guess if you needed to keep any of them for spares, for whatever reason, you can. Like on the other side, I have some lug nuts that are starting to round off, and I'm probably going to have to cut them off. It doesn't really bother me because these studs are going to be replaced. They come with new studs already pressed in with the new hub assemblies, so no big deal. But that's also my fault because I didn't bring the right size socket home, and they're metric. So the lug nuts are at least on my Tahoe. They are these that the little plastic covers go on for the hubcap or center cap, whatever you want to call it. These are a 22 millimeter. They're not a 7/8, which is all I have here. I didn't think about bringing a socket home to take the wheels off, so my passenger side is not going to be coming off today. I'll just have the driver's side taken apart. But yeah, so I think these are M14 by 1.5, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong, but yeah, these are a 22 millimeter socket to get them off. Don't know the torque specs. Like I said, you can look them up. I have a Haynes manual, so if I need to look them up, I will. And yes, there's stuff leaking. There was a water pump replaced on this by the previous owner, and apparently they didn't do a very good job replacing it because it's leaking on the ground. So I'll have to go back and fix somebody else's fuck up apparently. But yeah, I just wanted to make this video to show, you know, what some of the sizes are, what kind of stuff like that. You shouldn't probably have to get rid of the tie rod. It probably would help, but you know, that's, you know, you're a rodeo, you do it how you want to do it. But I believe that's an 18 millimeter also, or a 22 maybe on the old, or 13/16 on the old nut. I don't have, this is a new piece, so they're a little bit different. But yeah. So just figured I'd go over that and show y'all how bad mine were, or at least this one. The passenger side one's not too far behind it. So, and this one wasn't making noise. That's the funny part. It wasn't making noise, but I noticed I had a really bad clunk, and this is where my clunk came from, because all this is brand new. So, you know, and if you're gonna be in here, try to paint some of this stuff. It makes it look better. It makes it look like you actually give a shit about your vehicle. I'm gonna paint mine, but you know, if you don't, then you know it's your vehicle, I guess. Do what you want to do to it, but in my opinion, it would look a whole lot better. Like you can see, I've got to get rid of all this electrical tape because it's all falling apart and crumbling, and it's got power steering fluid all in it. So for one, the tape isn't even taping anymore because you can see I'm just unraveling it. So I need to clean all that out because it keeps dripping and it keeps making me think that there's still something wrong with it, and there's not. Because see, that's all brake fluid. I mean, power steering fluid. But yeah, see, this is just irritating. And like, there's wires that are exposed. Got to fix that because that's dangerous, and that's just going to lead to problems later on that I don't want to deal with because I don't like dealing with wiring. But yeah, so, and I'm probably making it worse by uncoiling this, but it'll be fine. We'll just send it. It'll buff. But yeah, so I'll go over it again when I get done fucking with that. But the 3 bolts for the hub are 15 millimeter. The 2 caliper bracket bolts are 18 millimeter. The bolt here, 10 millimeters. They're both exactly the same. The top, I think the upper ball joint is 18 millimeter, which you can't see. 10 millimeter. Don't forget to clean the inside of the hub where this goes, so that way the next time you have to replace it, if you keep the vehicle long enough, it comes out super easy. Like I had to beat mine out because it was being a pain in the ass. So then I think these are a 13/16 or maybe an 18. I can't remember to be exact, but I have all the sizes written down. So, but yeah, so I appreciate you guys, and I will see you guys later.